What's up everyone, this is Platinum Howler 14, back for another post-commentary of a very unique Wi-Fi battle versus my good friend Ruppy. This battle was unique because we decided to play a GBA mock final, where we took over the rosters of the two teams in the championship match. I used 6 of the 11 members of the Utah Jasmine, coached by Cooper Koshiro, and Ruppy used 6 of the 11 members of the San Francisco Arcaniners, coached by Septile MC. Unfortunately, we were not able to coordinate the game before the actual final was played and uploaded to YouTube, so Ruppy decided to use the exact same team that Septile MC built for the game. I, on the other hand, built my own team, which consisted of 3 of the same 6 that Cooper brought, as well as 3 different mons from what he brought. And disclaimer, even though the battle had been uploaded to YouTube before I actually played this game versus Ruppy, I had not watched any content related to the championship match at all. So I had no idea on the team that George was bringing or the sets. I had no idea. I prepared for, I just assumed that he was going to bring any combination of 6 out of the 11. I did not assume it would be this specific combination, so I just want to make it perfectly clear that I had no knowledge of the sets or whatever that Ruppy was going to bring. Let me just briefly explain my team and kind of why I decided to bring certain things. First there you see Magnezone. It's pretty much just a standard scarfed Magnezone with Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Flash Cannon, and Tri-Attack. It does have Magnet Pull to trap that Fortress, but it does not. I do not carry HP Fire on this because Fortress can easily anticipate the bringing of Magnezone and work around being trapped. So it could be like an Okaberry with Earthquake and just destroy Magnezone. So if I manage to trap the Fortress at any point, I Volt Switch on it no matter what. So one really great thing about Magnezone in this matchup is that there is no ground type on Ruppy's team. He had the option to bring Mamoswine and or Nidoqueen, and he brought none of them. So Magnezone Volt Switches on his entire team for free the entire game, so that's great. Next Pokemon is Claydol. Has Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin, Earthquake, and Trick, holding a ring target. Now that is really weird. Why did I bring Trick with ring target? Well, I decided to try to trick a potential Spiritomb a ring target, so that way Mega Gallade could hit it with close combat. Also, well, that was the main thing that I wanted to trick it to, but I guess depending on the team that was brought, then the ring target could have served a lot of different purposes. The Spiritomb was not brought, so fortunately something really cool doesn't get to happen in this game, but something kind of weird, I guess, does happen against me, as you were going to see. Greninja, physical Greninja with Waterfall, Water Shuriken, Low Kick, and Taunt, and holding a Roselli Berry to better take on the Gardevoir. Whether it's Scarfed or it's not Scarfed, at least one hit of either Waterfall or Water Shuriken will be in Torrent range if he goes for a Moonblast and expects to kill. He won't kill, instead he'll knock me down into Torrent range and I'll be able to take on the Gardevoir better. I was definitely anticipating a Scarfed Gardevoir to better deal with Mega Gallade, because I did not think that he was going to bring the Mega Beedrill, which would otherwise be his only way of outspeeding Mega Gallade. So I thought he would have to Scarf something, and I thought he might decide to Scarf the Gardevoir. Next Pokemon is Clefable. It's an unaware Clefable to deal with a Tail Glow Manaphy. The only thing about unaware Clefable is that its only form of recovery is Moonlight, and Moonlight will only recover 25% in the rain. So to better deal with something with a Manaphy that has some sort of gimmick to deal with a unaware Clefable, I put Encore on this Clefable to potentially encore it into a predicted Rain Dance. So if it goes for Rain Dance and I encore it into Rain Dance, I can get a free switch into something that's going to be doing a lot more damage than Clefable is. Next Pokemon is Weezing. In this game, it's a good switch into Mega Beedrill. I brought it more to switch into Mamoswine because I was expecting more than the Mega Beedrill. Sludge Bomb, Will-O-Wisp, Taunt, and Resto Chesto instead of Pain Split. I don't know, this is just kind of something I wanted to do instead of run Pain Split, because I thought I might have to be switching in Weezing a lot in this game, so I wanted to make sure that I could at least basically have 2 Weezings, I guess, so that when it gets worn down enough that I could just rest up to full health and eat my Chesto Berry and be able to support the team for a longer amount of time. I thought Resto Chesto would just help Weezing stay around for longer. And last but not least is Mega Gallade. Outspeeds his entire team except for the Mega Beedrill. Close combat, Earthquake, Fire Punch, and Bulk Up. There's no Zen Headbutt to hit Nidoqueen or Infernape, but you know what? Earthquake hits them both. And it also does more damage to Spiritomb that is not yet holding a ring target. So that's why I decided to go with that. One thing I miss actually is Clefable's only attacking move is Psychic. It is not packing Moonblast to hit the Spiritomb, but it will be able to hit the Spiritomb after I get the ring target tricked onto it. But of course there is no Spiritomb. So starting with the game now. He decided to lead with Scarf Magnezone, safe Volt Switch out on anything. There's no ground types, so pretty easy lead for me. He's also going to take a similar route with his lead, just leading with his Electric-type Volt Switcher. And I have no idea what this Electabuzz is, so if it's Scarfed with Focus Blast, I do not want to leave Magnezone in. But instead he goes for the Volt Switch, and it hits the Claydol because the Claydol's holding ring target, which makes it susceptible to electric-type moves. So he's going to be able to Volt Switch out into his Mega Beedrill, and obviously he's going to click U-turn here and just keep the momentum on me, so there's no way I'm leaving Claydol in. I'm going to go out into Weezing, which is max physically defensive to take on physical attackers such as this Mega Beedrill. He goes for the Protect and completely kills all the momentum that he had. So now he's going to U-turn out, but Weezing's going to be able to get a Sludge Bomb off on the incoming Manaphy. Now he could have decided to bring in Infernape here as well. So I knew that he was going to U-turn out into either the Manaphy or the Infernape. So I went for the Sludge Bomb because it would have been the better option to hit the Infernape. And I can deal with the Manaphy a little bit better. Right here, Magnezone is a lot safer switch-in to the Manaphy because there are no ground types on the team. I know that I'm going to be able to threaten this Manaphy with big damage from an Electric-type move because he has really nothing to switch in. I don't know what kind of spread this is, so I'm not positive if the Thunderbolt's going to kill the Manaphy. And he is at +3, so if it didn't kill the Manaphy, then my Magnezone would be down for the count. So I'm just going to Volt Switch and allow my unaware Clefable to eat that hit up like it was nothing. Clefable gives no shits about your Tail Glows. He's going to get his leftovers back, I'm going to get my leftovers back, and he's going to switch out because he's not doing anything to this Clefable. As I'm just going to go for the Psychic, trying to chip the Manaphy down as much as I can. Moonblast obviously would have done more damage, but you know what? I don't have Moonblast. So Psychic was my best thing to hit it. Hopefully I could just keep hitting it with Psychics if it wanted to stay in, and I could maybe take it out. But instead he pulls the switch out into the Fortress, which is going to allow me to send in my Claydol and get rid of my ring target. I cannot continue to play with the ring target Claydol because then his Electabuzz Volt Switches on my entire team, and when his Electabuzz comes in, the Mega Beedrill comes in, and I need to kill that Volt Turn core. That is my #1 priority at this point. So he sets up Stealth Rocks with his Fortress. And I'm able to trick the ring target to the Manaphy, which is good because it takes away the Manaphy's leftovers, and that's going to really hinder its survivability and really help my Claydol's survivability a lot. So Magnezone still has no damage on it, so I'm going to switch it in again to really keep the pressure on this Manaphy, as the Manaphy goes for Skill Swap, which is its gimmick of choice to deal with Clefable. I'll explain why later, why that was a poor decision in my opinion to have Skill Swap over something else. But I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch again, as he's going to elect to save the Manaphy, and I get a Volt Switch off on the Electabuzz, and able to get Claydol back in again. Recovers the Rock's damage off with leftovers. And right here, he's going to reveal the Magnet Rise on the Electabuzz, which means my Earthquake that I opted to go for here becomes useless. Not the worst thing in the world, but this does mean that I will not be able to spin rocks away from my side of the field, as he goes for a Toxic on this turn. I set up my own rocks, and now that I'm Toxicked, I know that this Electabuzz is going to go for its 4th move, that it's going to be able to hit Claydol for a decent amount of damage. But I decide here, I would rather rocks stay on my side of the field than Claydol get worn down, because I still want the Claydol around to deal with the Gardevoir. So he's going to go for the Hidden Power Ice as I switch in my specially defensive Clefable. He does unfortunately get a critical hit right there, but you know, it is what it is. Didn't really do that much damage anyway, so Clefable's just going to come in, and I'm going to go for the Heal Bell to get rid of the Toxic on my Claydol, as he is going to Volt Switch out into the Gardevoir, and I cannot stay in with this Clefable on the Gardevoir because Psyshock would do a hell of a lot of damage, because I have no physical defense investment at all. So Heal Bell's going to come off, and the Toxic is going to go away from the Claydol, as Leftovers is going to bring me up just beyond half, as I'm going to switch back out into the Claydol now, as this Gardevoir is going to reveal Future Sight, which is very interesting. I've never really understood how to use Future Sight effectively. I'm not exactly sure what the goal of Future Sight in this game was for, like, you know what I mean? But Moonblast is going to do a ton of damage right there to a max HP, max special defense Claydol, as I'm going to get off some good damage on the Gardevoir with an Earthquake. Earthquake was my sole move of choice, just to be able to hit the Gardevoir harder. So now he's going to elect to switch out the Gardevoir into his Fortress. It's going to take Rocks damage, and I right here make a poor play. I decide to switch into my Magnezone, because on this turn I'm going to be taking the Future Sight attack, and that does a lot of damage. And if he stayed in and went for another Moonblast right there, I very well could have lost my Magnezone. And he was more than likely an Assault Vest Gardevoir, and Flash Cannon may not have killed, and I may have lost my Magnezone and just made a terrible decision right there. So it actually worked out for me, because he went out into the Fortress. He was able to switch out the Fortress on my Magnet Pull Magnezone, so he did reveal himself to be Shed Shell, but I went for Volt Switch anyway, because, you know, I was fearing a potential Octoberry Earthquake set. I didn't have HP Fire anyway. And I'm able to bring in my Glade now and get my Mega Evolution off, which is huge, because now I will be guaranteed to outspeed the Infernape and the Gardevoir to get off big damage on both of those. He's going to switch in his Fortress. It's going to take more Rocks damage, as the Rocks damage wore down the Fortress very nicely, as he's going to take this Earthquake. It's a critical hit Earthquake, but that crit doesn't really matter, because he would have been put in range to die from a Fire Punch no matter what. So the Fortress goes down, and the Mega Beedrill is going to come in, and this is where Rocks being up on his side is so huge, because it really limits the Beedrill's switch-ins. Weezing, basically the only purpose it's serving at this point is to just switch into Beedrill, as it's going to force out the Beedrill and make it take more Rocks damage when it comes in. So he does U-turn out on the Weezing and goes back into the Gardevoir, And this Stealth Ruck's damage, it's helping me so much. It's just making my plays a lot easier, knowing that things are in range and that things might not, like, things could possibly live on very little health. This is going to allow me to make a very offensive switch into my Greninja. As he goes for a Psychic attack, I'm of course immune. This is Torrent Greninja, by the way, not Protein, so I'll be Water Dark the whole time. Because I was holding the Roselli Berry, I knew I would be able to live any hit that he went for, and he was likely going to go for the Psychic, so I'd likely take no damage anyway. As right here, I'm going to go for the Waterfall, as he decides to bring in the Manaphy, which is going to die to 2 Waterfalls, and might have lived 2 Waterfalls if he still had his leftovers, but that's where me tricking away his leftovers with Claydol was a real big help for me. So right here, as he brings in the Beedrill, it's the only thing he has to outspeed Greninja. I'm going to reveal the Water Shuriken, and unfortunately I only get 3 hits and I just miss out on the kill on the Mega Beedrill. But that is going to put him in range to die to rocks when he comes in next time. So that's really all that I was looking for, because now Mega Gallade comes in and outspeeds everything except for a potential Scarfed Infernape, but I still don't know if the Infernape is Scarfed. And if it is Scarfed with Flare Blitz and he locks himself into Flare Blitz, I could potentially be in some trouble here. So I'm going to go into Mega Gallade on the Electabuzz and then double out into Magnezone, expecting him to sack his Mega Beedrill to the rocks damage. And I go out into Magnezone because I can hopefully bait out the Infernape and find out if it is Scarfed or not. But instead he leaves the Electabuzz in and goes for a Volt Switch, and Volt Switches into Infernape as he goes for Vacuum Wave, which is good because if he's Scarfed into Vacuum Wave, he can't do any damage to Glade. But the Vacuum Wave damage does reveal himself to be Life Orb, so I know that Mega Gallade is going to be able to outspeed and kill with an Earthquake right here. And then, at this point, Mega Gallade sweeps through the rest of his team, and that is a beautiful thing. So, Infernape goes down right there to an Earthquake. He's going to bring in the Gardevoir. It's going to take more rocks damage, and it is extremely frail on the physically defensive side, so it's not going to be able to take an Earthquake. Now, the reason why I had Earthquake over Zen Headbutt on the Mega Gallade was to be able to deal decent damage to the Gardevoir, because Zen Headbutt would be resisted. Beedrill comes in right here, dies to the rocks, nothing doing there. And his last Pokemon is the Electabuzz, which is not going to be able to outspeed Mega Gallade and is going to die to an Earthquake. So that is a good game to my good friend Ruppy. That was really fun battle. I was really glad I was able to do something like that, a mock GBA final. That's so cool. I do want to quickly go over why I don't agree with the usage of a skill swap Manaphy. Is just the simple fact that once he takes away Unaware from my Clefable, I can switch Clefable back out and then back in, and boom, I have Unaware again. You still have Unaware on your Manaphy, so if you want to skill swap my Unaware again, you're going to give me Unaware right back because you have the same ability. So, me personally, if it were me, I would have probably brought a Rain Dance Manaphy instead, because that would have boosted the power of my water type attack. I would have been able to rest off any damage and get back to full health, and you would not have been able to recover as well, because if you're Unaware, your only healing option is Moonlight, and that's not recovering the maximum amount of HP when the rain is up. So yeah, that's why I don't agree with the skill swap Manaphy. But again, good game to Ruppy. You can find him on YouTube at the PokeRupp. He should have a video for this battle, his side of this battle as well. So make sure to check that out. And we will see you next time.